Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today is date night and my husband and I were thinking let's have some nachos. We usually just stick to rice, but today we want to switch it up and eat some nachos. So we're actually getting the boys ready to come with us to the grocery store to pick up some items that we're actually missing for our nachos. Now you guys know my hands are full. I have 3 boys, 4-year-old, 2-year-old, and a 7-month-old. This stage of our life is so busy. The way my husband and I are constantly running around, chasing these kids, getting them dressed, changing diapers, like it is non-stop. There is something I saw that was saying that being a stay-at-home mom is like working 2.5 jobs. And that is honestly so true. It feels like you are constantly working. When they say a mother's job is never done, it honestly is never done because there's always something to do. And this boy keeps my hands so full. Look how chunky he is, guys. He's now 7 months old and is just growing so big. I mean, I love it, but this mama's hands are tired. I found a really amazing stroller that I just had to share with you. They are so helpful to moms. We got this ultra lightweight baby stroller that is so easy to lift out of the car. You just push the button and then bam, it comes out. It doesn't take a lot of struggle or anything like that. And honestly, this is something that is so useful. It is so lightweight, it's so smooth and very compact. It's only 11.6 pounds. This stroller is the first carbon fiber stroller, so it makes it light and strong. This is actually our first time testing this thing out, and I was amazed because I'm holding the camera with one hand and pushing it with the other. And it was just gliding, very smooth, very lightweight. It was not a struggle walking around the store. And honestly, as a mom, I appreciate products like this that are very functional, very useful. Again, I'm just pushing it with one hand, not a struggle, making my shopping experience nice and easy. Like, this is the type of stroller that you would want to bring with you to the airport. So if you are interested in an amazing baby stroller, I'm going to leave the details of it in the description below. We finally made it back home and we are actually going to be double teaming this. So Skylar is getting the chicken all prepped, washing it, and then thinning it out. I'm hanging out with Trudy right now, and then we're going to switch where I will get to then season it because he just trusts my seasonings better. And honestly, I've changed up my seasoning. The way I used to make nachos was I would just buy the taco seasoning like from the packet and then use that. And honestly, it does not taste that good in comparison to when you're adding your own seasonings like garlic powder, onion powder, some paprika. I like to add in beta, things like that. It just makes it taste so much better. But it also depends on your palate because some people are fine with just salt and pepper. I remember when Skylar and I were first married and it was our first year, I realized even though I grew up in a Sudanese household and my mama she added lots of seasonings into the stew, into just the food, okay? But when Skylar and I were married, I, for some reason, would only use just the simplest ingredients. I didn't know nothing about no garlic powder. I didn't know onion powder. I would simply use just salt and pepper and then maybe something else that was just like in the pantry, but I was not good with seasonings. Now, as a wife and a mother of 3, I've changed. My palate has gotten better. I'm using all the seasonings because you know what? I want my food to taste good. I want it to taste flavorful. And you know, I'm cooking for my family and I want them to also like the food and not just, you know, eat it just because it's right there. I want it to taste good. I like to think of myself as a seasonal foodie, and okay, that term foodie is something I just learned maybe 3-4 years ago. But there's just people that are like, they really love food, you know, like different kinds of food. They like to explore different restaurants. See, I like doing that occasionally. The thing with me is when I like a certain type of food, I will stick to that food till like the death of me, because especially when I'm going to a restaurant, because it's like, if I already know it, I know it tastes good, I'm gonna like it, why not stick beside it? You know what I mean? I know it's gonna taste good and I'm not wasting my money. The worst thing to do is go into a restaurant, order something completely different because you think it might taste good, only to be disappointed when the food comes out and you've tasted it and it's not that good. Now you're like spending money on food that you don't even like. Like, who wants to do that? So I don't know. I like to think that I'm a foodie sometimes, but I'm just not that adventurous with food. But now that I am getting a bit older, I tell myself, you know, I shouldn't go any longer thinking, you know, that food might taste bad just because you're not used to it. You know, I am now 32 years old. It is time to grow up and explore all the options. I remember back in high school, I used to think butter and bread crazy. Butter and bread were just completely disgusting, okay? Like adding butter to your bread. I didn't like it and I never tasted it. I just assumed it just looked, those two things going together just looked gross. So I never had it. But then towards it was actually my senior year, I finally had some butter and bread. And let me tell you, I fell in love. It was the most delicious thing ever. Like, how did I go this long without having butter and bread? True story. And I look back and kind of use that as a life lesson. Like, just because you think it might look gross or it might not go, doesn't mean you shouldn't taste it, because honestly it probably tastes really good, just like that butter and bread that you missed out on for 3 years in high school and your life only to find out, hey, this is actually really, really good. And it was specifically the school's butter and bread. I just thought it looked so gross, but come to find out it was actually super delicious. So I'm just getting Judy ready to go down, just kind of cleaning his face. He just ate. And then we are going to officially start our date night and eat our nachos. So the thing with nachos, guys, believe it or not, I used to think that nachos weren't a proper meal. Like, you're telling me we're just eating chips and some meat and then some cheese on that? Like, that's not a meal. And honestly, I still don't know how I feel about nachos. But the way I make them, they're gonna be a whole meal. My husband, without me, it would be just as that. Chips, throw some meat on top, maybe some cheese or something like that. But me, no, I'm gonna make it loaded. Like, we are going to have that as a meal. The way they are looking right now, see, it don't look that appetizing. It looks dry. It looks like, wow, that's all you guys are having for date night. But trust me, get to the end of this video and you will see how those nachos turn out. Putting the nachos in now to bake, so the cheese and the jalapenos just melt. But now that it's done, look at it, guys. We added some more toppings. It's looking really good. And this isn't the end yet. There's more. Like, you will see how my nachos come together. Bam, look. Yeah, I added some sauce, some cheese, and that's a little hot sauce on the top. I love me some spice. This was actually so delicious. It was like the perfect date night. We lit our candles, made it very cozy and romantic. But let me tell you guys, when we woke up the next day, our stomachs were actually hurting. And I think it's because I loaded it too much. I just added too much, and I'm already kind of lactose intolerant, so the cheese messed me up, and the hot sauce was not sitting right. So even though it was delicious and it looks good, look at that, it was not great the next day. If you made it this far along in my video, thank you guys for watching. I would appreciate it if you're not already subscribed, if you could subscribe to my channel and like this video. It'll help me out a lot. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye.